Shalom Legulam, and welcome to this special lesson, a lesson that maybe I didn't want it to do in this type of environment that we're living right now in the world. As everybody knows, in this moment, Israel is living under the pressure of war. Hamas invaded a part of Israel and butcher a whole bunch of people that were innocent, people that were minding their own lives. Yet this cultic terrorist group that the only desire that they have is to bring chaos, violence, and death decided to do this attack, and now Israel is being forced to basically eradicate them from the earth. As bad as it sounds, it's something that needs to be done. And sadly, there's going to be innocent lives on both sides that are going to be lost. But this battle is not only a battle that is going to be waged with weapons. It's going to be a battle that is going to be waged with politics. And also those of us that are in the spiritual path, spiritual research, we also need to wage this war against this enemy. This enemy called Hamas is a branch of a bigger enemy that Israel has always had, and that enemy is Amelek. And this lesson is about Amelek. We're going to explain what Amelek is all about, what Amelek is trying to do, how it's manifesting throughout the whole world, because it's not only in Israel that we see Amelek manifesting, it's manifesting all around the world, not just now with these protests pro-Israel or pro-Palestinian. It's been going on since the very beginning. If we read the Torah, we're going to see the roots of this evil. So I hope you see the whole lesson so you can understand what Amelek is all about, what Amelek is looking for, how we open the doors for Amelek to manifest in our personal lives, in our social system, and also in our world system, and how we can eradicate this evil force that in the Torah says the Creator is going to have a wage battle with Amelek until the end of time, right? So let's start with the lesson about Amelek and how we can eradicate its name from the face of the earth. To start our lesson, we need to go to the Zohar. In the Zohar, Bereshit Aleph, from the Baal HaSulam commentary, we're going to see on item 224 that it talks about 5 groups of mixed multitude. And these are the Nephilim, which are the fallen ones, the Giborim, which are the mighty ones, the Anakim, which are the giants, the Rephaim, which are called shades, and the Amalekites. And he says there that because of these groups, the small hay, which is the hay that represents Malchut, fell from its place, fell from the place of Bina, meaning that it became a darker force, a force of egoism, a force that only cares for itself. While in Bina, everything is about altruism, giving, and things like that. When it says, that the small hay fell from that level, means that it fell into a level of self-worship. It creates its own God, and this God is the God of destruction, the God of egoism, the God that try to exploit every single resource around it for the sake of itself, not for the sake of others or the sake of God. Now, within these forces, the last one that is mentioned is the Amalekites. The Amalekites are basically the servants of Amelek. And Amelek is the servant of another force that we're going to mention later when we talk about the wars that need to come before Mashiach ben David or the Messianic consciousness appear in humanity. But for now, we need to understand that Amelek symbolizes discord. Amelek is doubt, division. In fact, when we look at the word Amelek, we're going to see that the numerical value of the word Amelek is 240. 240 is also the numerical value of the word doubt. So to understand it better, let's look at it letter by letter. The word Amelek is written with the letter Ain, the letter Mem, the letter Lamed, and the letter Kuf. When we add these letters together, they give us the number 240 when we change these Hebrew letters for numbers, because each Hebrew letter represents a number as well. Then the word for doubt is Safek. The word Safek is written Samek, Pei, and Kuf. And when we add the numerical value of these letters, we're going to have the number 240. Now, the wise of Israel, the teachers of Israel, they say that when you add these two numbers, the 240, they give us 480. And 480 is the gematria or numerical value of the word Talmud, which is written Tov, Lamed, Mem, Vav, and Dalet. And this is why in Kabbalah and also in Judaism we teach that in order to eliminate Amelek and doubt, we need to study Torah. It is said in the Talmud Kiddushim, page 30a, that the Creator created the Yetzer Hara, which is the evil inclination, but also created the medicine for it, and is Torah, is the light that reforms. In the Torah, when we read the Torah, we're going to see that the Torah gives us a clue how Amelek manifests and where it came from. And it came from the root of the poison of the snake in the Garden of Eden, when the snake talked to Chava, to Eve, in order to trick her to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But also tell us that in order to contrast, to neutralize these forces, we need to have a force that is equal, greater than that. And as we saw, that the word Amelek and the word doubt, when you add them together, give us 480, and 480 is the numerical value of Talmud, meaning that's the medicine for it. The medicine is Torah. The same thing the Torah itself is telling us about the medicine for the snake, for the poison of the snake. The numerical value for the word snake, which is Nahash in Hebrew, is 61. But interesting enough, we're going to see that the word Mashiach, which is the Hebrew word for Messiah in Hebrew, is also 61. And what we're going to see also is the following. and is that this word Mashiach, that has a numerical value of 61, and is also a numerical value of snake, it's also a numerical value for Adon, master, and also for the word Ein. Ein means non-existence, and everybody knows that study Kabbalah knows that Ein, which means non-existence, has also a numerical value because it uses the same letters of the word Ani. And who is Ein and who is Ani? Ein, that is non-existent, and Ani, which means I am or me, is talking about the force of the Creator itself. Which means, that at the end, what we're gonna see, even though we're battling Amelek constantly in our lives, at the end we're gonna see that the total annihilation is going to be done by the Creator itself. And there's a lot of hidden meanings here, much deeper, but we need to go into what is called advanced Kabbalah in order to understand the forces that we can correct and the forces that can only be corrected at the end of time, or Gamar Hatikun. And that's why it's saying, it is saying in Kabbalah that the whole force of Amalek is going to be annihilated at the end by the Creator himself. So how this force manifests in the world? The first thing that you need to see is just look around and see what's happening in the whole world right now. There's a lack of empathy. There's a lack of love. Everybody's dividing each other out of this nonsense, dividing each other based on religion, based on different sexes, different races, different political affiliations or ideals. The thing is that humanity is finding at this moment a wall, and they're trying to figure out what's going on with this wall. So they try to blame each other for not advancing towards the goal that nature itself, the Creator itself, wants for humanity. We have actually created a wall based on our egoistic nature, and this wall is the only thing holding us from achieving spiritual attainment. And because we don't see things the way we want them to be, we start then complaining, and we start blaming other people, and we start blaming all this work for nothing. Oh, humanity is going to end up annihilated. We are wasting our time. Let's enjoy our life because we don't know about tomorrow. All these excuses in order not to care about each other and also take responsibility for our own actions as well. How do we know this? As we mentioned before, the Torah is the medicine. The Torah has the code for our lives, and it explains to us what is really happening in the spiritual. For this, we need to go to the following book and chapter in the Torah. In the book of Exodus, chapter 17, we're going to see the whole story of what is happening to humanity. And in this story, we're going to see that the children of Israel find themselves in the wilderness of sin. And sin, remember, sin comes from sinat. Sinat means hate. So they're finding themselves in the wilderness of sin. And it says, that it's the whole community of Israelites, right? And they were basically walking according to the stages as the Yod He and the Vav He will command. And then they encamped in a place called Rephidim. Now, as we mentioned before, each word in the Torah is a code. So once again, we're going to change these letters for the name Rephidim into letters and into numbers. And these letters are going to be the following. Rech, which has a value of 200. Pei has the value of 80, Yod has the value of 10, Dalet has the value of 4, and the Mem, which has the value of 40. When we add them together, it gives us the number 334, and 334 is the same numerical value for the following words: Kol damama daka, which translate into a still small voice. And this comes from First Kings chapter 19 verse 12, in which we see kind of like a vision of this process that a person go through as they break through what is called the cliffo, through these shells, in order to achieve spirituality. But also what we need to keep in mind is that this still small voice is a voice that also manifests in times of having to do a declaration of judgment. It's also known as the bad call. And this bad call announces the death of Moses in the Torah. We're going to see that according to the Talmud. And also these voices there, bad call means, daughter of a voice. And it's a voice that proclaims God's will or a divine judgment in a matter of a dispute. And with this division that we have in the world, Jew versus Palestinian, Jew versus Jew, Palestinian versus Palestinian, Islamic people versus Islamic people, Christians versus Christians, all these divisions that we have created within the religion, within politics, with the left and right wings, all around the world, fighting each other like it is a matter of life and death to them, but they're the ones making it a matter of life and death because they want to kill each other, right? All these things are the poison of the snake. All these things, all these differences that we have in our mind is part of the poison of the snake. It's because we ate from the tree of good and evil, and that's why all these things are mixed up in our mind. We don't see the real thing. We don't see the tree of life. And that's why it's important, if you're following spirituality, to understand why Amelek is a force that feeds from this discord, from these divisions, these emotions against each other and all that, and why it is spreading these days faster than ever, to the point that it might become just like the latest big manifestation that we had, called the Nazis in Europe. Now, as Kabbalists, we need to understand that this is not the only force that is manifesting. As the Zohar mentioned, there are 5 forces: the Nephilim, the Giborim, Amalekim, the Anakim, and Rephaim. But we can fight back. We can fight back with spiritual weapons, let's put it that way. We can fight with the physical weapons, and still the poison is going to be there. As some people say, that you can kill people, but you cannot kill an idea or an ideal. That is true, because an ideal on an idea is a force, is kind of like an angel or a demon. It depends on what the mission is, right? So in this case, we need to understand that we have the following evil forces in the world manifesting, and these are the Erev Rav, right, the mixed multitude, that we are fighting not only with weapons but also spiritually. So let's talk about the Nephilim. How do you fight against the Nephilim, these fallen ones? This force try to bring war within the family, war within the house, separation between men and women, separation between, using basically, like we see today, we have people within what is called the sexual spectrum, and they try to destroy other relationships. Just because you are have a sexual preference doesn't mean you have to be against the sexual preferences of another person. And we see that war going on right now, and to be honest, this is what's happening. You see people that are fighting for the right to be equally recognized because of their sexual preferences, yet they act the same way against the people that claim to be straight, right? And try to destroy what is being the family, what is being called family, a man and a woman all the time. And that's the Nephilim. The Nephilim try to divide in that sense, try to destroy the house. So how do we fight this? Even if you're a man, even if you're a woman, I know it's being promoted out there in Judaism only for women, but it's called the mikveh. Go and immerse yourself in living waters, meaning in the ocean, in the river, or in a mikveh, in a synagogue, and meditate on this. That you're doing this in order to bring shalom bait, peace to the house, peace not only to your house but to every house. The Giborim are manifesting in what is called in people that want honors only for themselves and power only to themselves. And we see this in every government in the world today. You know, everybody wants to leave this legacy that I am the biggest leader, I'm the biggest dictator and all that. And if it doesn't go my way, I'd rather destroy the whole nation or the whole world, right? And it happens also at work. You're going to find people that are in positions that might be your boss or might be somebody, you know, that owns a company, and because of that they try to destroy everybody else. They try to gain material uh, 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 things based on honestly enslaving other people, and that's not the way. So how do we fight this giborim? Is by reading what is called the Ketoret. And if you have any question what the Ketoret is the section in the Jewish prayer in which we talk about how the incense is made and was presented in the temple. And if you have any questions, let me know and I'll send you a link so you can read the Ketoret. Now the Amelekim, which is the spirit of Amelek, these are the ones that are gonna take you away from what is called spirituality. They are the ones that are going to put doubt in you. Does God really exist? Then why all these bad things are happening in the world? What is going on? Why am I suffering if God is so good? And that's the whole thing, you know. Why God didn't protect these people? Why they got attacked by Hamas? You know, all this questioning. Why the government didn't see it coming? And that's a whole doubt. That's Amelek. That's the whole point of Amelek, to start weakening the people with doubt. So how do we fight Amelek? First of all, studying Kabbalah. And when you do study Kabbalah, don't do it for the sake of knowledge. Do it for the sake of unifying the Creator and unifying the whole humanity. Now, Anakim, the Anakims are what we're going to see everywhere. Is hate for the sake of hating. Somebody's different than me, I'm going to hate that person because the person doesn't think like me, doesn't look like me, doesn't like things, the same things as me, so I'm gonna hate. And how do I eliminate that? Trying to, instead of hating for the sake of hate, try to love for the sake of love. Push yourself to love the other person and see the other person as part of yourself. And that way you will be loving the Creator, because that's the formula to kill the Anakim. The Rephaim, they generate division, and sometimes this division doesn't have to be violent. This division has to be basically division between generations, division between political views, with division between religious views and things like that. And they love to do that mostly within families. So in order to eliminate this shedim from our world, from our lives, and shedim means demons, right? We need to celebrate Shabbat. Have that day, that temple in time, and celebrate it. If you're Jewish, you know how to do it. There's a prescription of what to do or not to do. If you're Christian, because a lot of Christians are hearing this and take classes with me in the Spanish or in the English group, do it as well. Make it part of your day. Celebrate Shabbat. You don't have to do it the Jewish way. You can do it your own way, but celebrate Shabbat. Celebrate Shabbat with your family. Participate in something that brings your family together, that brings shalom bait, that brings peace in the house. Now, knowing this, we need to understand these forces more in depth, right? We know they are forces of judgment, evil. They're clifots that we need to be aware of. These clifots are not new. They come from all the way from the snake. They manifested with Cain when Cain killed Abel, and it manifested later uh, with the people during the flood, Noah's flood. Manifested with the people in Babylon. It manifested with the Israelites when I actually manifested also between in the children of Jacob when they did what they did to Joseph, and it manifested again with the Israelites when they were in Mount Sinai, and then it manifested again, and this time when the name was actually uh, revealed was in Exodus 17, in which we're gonna see that they're in this place called Rephidim, and in there they're complaining about water. They need water, and they were basically having this quarrel with Moses. It's gonna give us water to drink, you know. And Moses was like, why are you, asking me? Why are you fighting with me for that, And then we're gonna see that in Exodus 17, uh, Moshe asked the Creator, what shall I do with these people? Before long, they will stone me. That's how people tend to be. There's already a division here, not only to the point that there's a division of opinion, it's a division that is becoming violent. And then the Creator says to Moshe, pass before the people, take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take along the rod with which you struck the Nile, and set out. And then I will be standing there before you in the rock at Horeb. Strike the rock, and water will issue from it, and the people will drink. And then Moshe did that in front of the elders. And this place was called Massah and Meribah. And Massah means trial. So basically meaning that there was a trial in there. And Meribah means quarrel. So there was a fight in there as well, right? There was a trial and quarrel because the Israelites um, tried basically or tempted God, and they were asking, is the Creator present among us or not? And that's the problem, the doubt. And when that happens, that is when Amelek start manifesting. So it says, that Moshe said to Joshua, pick some troops for us and go out and do battle with Amelek. Tomorrow I will station um, uh, myself in the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. Okay, so here we see a battle that is going to happen with Joshua. And what we're going to see is that it talks about going to the top of a hill. Then when Moshe held his hands up, Israel prevailed, but whenever he let his hand down, Amalek prevailed. So what is happening here is that you're going to see is Amalek prevails for a while, Israel prevails for a while. Amalek prevails for a while, Israel prevails for a while. But why? Because of what is called tiredness. When people get tired, when people get tired of asking, in this case, let's say for water. Water means mercy, right? And also water is symbolism of prayer. We're asking, we're elevating or feminine waters or prayers. Well, there seems to be no answer from above. There seems to be no masculine waters coming down to us, no light coming down to us. And it's not that it's not coming down to us. It's just that the answer is coming, but it's not coming in the package and in the way that we want it. So we don't accept it. We don't receive it. We don't receive it because it's not what we want, and that's not how everything works. And then we start thinking that the Creator doesn't love us because it's not giving us what we want. The Creator will never give us what we want. It will give us what we need. And that's the difference. All we need to do is be grateful and receive it. That's all. And then something that is very important if you are paying attention to the news and the name of the battle that we are actually having today with Hamas. There's a sword. There's a name of a sword, right? And the name of the operation against Hamas is named Operation Iron Swords. And why was this name probably? And I'm assuming here what it is. It is this name, right? Why not other name? And it's simple because it has to do with the sword of Joshua. Because Joshua overwhelmed the people of Amelek with the sword, right? So, and this is important to understand that sword, the word cherev, sword, is a weapon. It's a weapon against Amelek. Well, what kind of sword we're talking about here is a sword that is made of the name Yod, He, and Vav, He. Okay, and when the battle was won, what we're gonna see is that there's a document. It was written, a document. Basically, it was documented. When it says it's documented, it means that there was um, a document to remind people. And he says in the Torah, inscribe this in the document as a reminder and read it aloud to Joshua. I will utterly blot out the memory of Amalek from under the heaven. You know, and that's what the commandment was to Moses from the Creator. And Moses there built an altar and called it Adonai Nisi. And Adonai Nisi means Yod He Vav He is my banner. It is translated that way, but also means Yod He Vav He is my miracle. And then it says, in Exodus 17, it means hand upon the throne of your Yehovah. Your Yehovah will be at war with Amelek throughout the ages. Let me go back to verse 15 where it says, and Moses built an altar and named it Adonai Nisi. And he said that it means hands upon the throne, the throne of your Yehovah, right? So, and if you see these groups take the name of God and use it in order to do horrific things. You see them killing people and they're praising God for it. They parade victims as trophies of war and they are praising God at the same time. And that's having the hand upon the throne of the Yehovah. And the Yehovah will be at war with Amelek throughout the ages. Finish that way. So why is this important to understand this? Because it is a battle right now that is going to happen. And this battle, some people call it the final battle with Amelek. But the final battle with Amelek is not a physical battle only. It's also a spiritual battle. It's a battle that is going to take a long time and it's going to take a lot of lives. And Amelek has infiltrated all aspects of our lives. If you look at our governments, doesn't matter which country, if you're on the left, you're going to find that Amelek is there in the form of being anti-Israel, anti-Jewish, anti-Semite. If you go to the right, you're going to find also anti-Jewish sentiment, anti-minorities sentiments. And that's Amelek. So you're going to find anti-Semitism on both sides of the aisle, if you want to call it that way. Just like it's happening in the United States. If you live in the United States, you're going to see that the right wing, which is the Republican Party, has a very extreme group of people that are against minorities. And just because they don't mention Jewish people does not mean that they're not on that list. Remember, these people support neo-Nazis and white supremacists. So you have to be careful. Then on the left, which is the Democratic Party, you're going to find the extreme, which are very I'm not going to say anti-Jewish, but anti-Israel, and anything that has to do with basically decency when it comes to religious term. So look around you, see the signs, because this battle is going to take a long time. This battle is being mentioned through many teachings, not only in Judaism. Christianity talks about it as well. Even the Muslims talk about this battle, the last battle of all battles. And this is the battle of Gog and Magog, the battle of Gog and Magog. I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just trying to make sure that you're prepared for it. You're going to hear a lot of Kabbalists. We're all saying the same thing. You're not going to hear anything different from everybody else. Probably more information, more details and things like that, but we are all in the same page when it comes to this. And it's amazing everybody's saying the same thing, right? Because we see the signs, and the signs already don't point. They're already happening. To finish, I'm just going to talk to you about what the Midrash says. Because this, what we have today is a manifestation of the same spirit that manifested in the beginning, and then it manifested as the evil Haman in Persia during the time of Esther. Then in the future, if you study the book of Esther, so I invite you to look at the teachings that I have for Purim, and there you're going to see the code for the future manifestation of these same spirits in the form of the Nazis. And now these same spirits are manifesting again in the form of Haman, but this time they're scattered all over the world. And the victims are not going to be only Israel. Israel is just the beginning, but it doesn't end with Israel. Remember that. It's the whole world that is going to be on this one. That's the whole point of these people. Divide and conquer. So the Midrash says that condemned are the evil ones because they occupy their time with ideas about how to annihilate and kill Jews. And each of them always find a better idea than the previous one in order to gain the fame. I was the one that did it. So we're going to see that Esau, Jacob's brother, he make fun of Cain because Cain killed Abel while Adam, right, the first man that we talk in the Genesis, was alive. And he said, if Cain wanted the whole world for himself, why did he kill Abel while Adam was still alive, knowing that Adam will have more sons? But Esau wasn't going to make the same mistake. He was going to wait until the death of Isaac, and then he will kill Jacob. But then it didn't work out, right? It was the turn of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh was laughing at Esau. And he said, didn't Esau saw that Jacob could have more kids before Isaac would be dead? So he wasn't gonna make the same mistake. And what he was gonna do was, I'm gonna be more smart or smarter than Esau. I'm not gonna wait for Israel to have sons before I kill it or kill him. I will gonna kill every and each male that is born. Then centuries later, it came the turn of the Pharaoh to be in the pedestal of shame because Haman came. And Haman laughed at the Pharaoh, saying, didn't Pharaoh understand that even if he left one Jew alive, he can create a whole nation? He can have sons and daughters and make a whole nation? It's for this reason that Haman wanted to annihilate everyone. Male, female, child, baby, doesn't matter. Now the Midrash finished by saying that in the future, Gog and Magog will make fun of Haman. And they're going to say, didn't Haman know that the Jews have a Father in heaven that will never let them be annihilated as long as they do their will? Then they're going to fight against God, making the Jews not to fulfill the Torah and the mitzvot. So if you really look at what happened, they did it on a holiday in order to stop the Jews from fulfilling their commandments of finishing Sukkot properly, observing Shemini Atzeret and Simchat Torah. Simchat Torah, Simchat Torah, which is the starting of a new cycle of reading the Torah. It was supposed to be a day of happiness, and they turned it into a day of tears. And this is what is going to make them have the possibility of trying to destroy the Jewish people. But God has an answer for them. God says, I have many messengers which I can send and fight. But the war against Gog and Magog, I will fight it myself. And the annihilation of Amelek and Gog and Magog is going to be total and forever. So I'll leave you with that. I hope you keep these and you meditate on these words, and that you understand that this is a war that is not going to be fought, with weapons. It's going to be fought also spiritually. So if you have any questions, anything that I can help for you to understand what you need to do, anything like that to help the people of Israel fight this fight. Because remember, Israel is not only a physical nation, it's also a spiritual nation. So those of you who are studying Kabbalah, who are looking for spirituality, you are part of Israel. So don't think that this is something that is going to just affect the Jews. This is going to affect everybody. Everybody that is looking for spirituality. It's all Israel. So don't think that you're safe. Nobody's safe. This is attacking the whole world, whole humanity. And it has the potential to spread into a bigger war. So let me know what you need. If you need anything, please ask questions. It's very important. That's how the light keeps coming down to us, as we ask questions, as we raise our prayers, right? Pray for the protection of all Israel and its defenders, that the Creator give wisdom and good guidance to the leaders of the nations of the world, especially Israel. And pray for the innocents, those who are suffering the consequences directly on both sides and everywhere around the world. Because we have to say it, humanity cannot be ignored. We're all humans. The only thing that divides us is the spirit of Amelek, the poison of the snake that makes us see each other different. And with this, I'll leave you. Shalom, and I'll see you next time.